Well, good afternoon, everybody, and it looks a fairly pleasant, if overcast day over there today. And of course, we're still having these COVID mutterings and mumblings about this, that, and the other. It's like the government really doesn't really know what it's doing. It says it is, but I don't believe really it knows what it's doing. What we really need is somebody from industry to come along and sort problems out. The high flyers, pay the money, get them in, and get it sorted. There's a lot of waste, which the government knows there is, and some shenanigans with handing out contracts, etc., which, of course, they say, well, we had to do it because we were in a hurry, which isn't really very true because they got existing suppliers and they could have gone down there. But no, of course, they didn't. It's hand out the money to all our little buddies. We've always done it, and we always will. But they all come in and say, yes, we're going to be so much better, so much different. And in reality, are they? No, of course they're not. I don't really understand why we carry on voting for them, but we don't really have any choice. When we were offered proportional representation, well, what did we do? Well, we were offered the worst. Not just do you want proportional representation? No, they offered us the worst possible scenario, which of course we rejected to carry on with what they regard as the best system in the world for electing their MPs. Well, it's not, because nobody else uses it, only us, as far as I know. So if it was the best, and we had all these colonies in the empire, why is it they all use PR and rejected our first past the post system if ours was so much superior? Well, clearly it isn't. But of course, we don't go down the American route, which is nobody understands how their system works, and well, anybody can get in, and you don't even have to have a majority, and it's all very complicated and expensive. So I don't see what the point of that is, but we certainly could do with shaking up our own electoral system and making our MPs more accountable. None of them have actually ever done a day's work in their life. None of them could afford to live on what they pay as a pension or unemployment benefit. But of course, pension isn't a benefit. It's something as a worker, I've worked 40 odd years of my life, and I've got to work till I'm 66, which means effectively I've worked 50 years of my life to achieve probably half of what you need to live on if you're working, probably less. That's a pretty poor state of affairs, and it's not a benefit. I, for one, have paid for it. It's not my fault. The government, as such, is the worst investment bank in the world. And they actually just take the money in one hand and hand it out in the other one to pay the pensions. And it's shocking. If they drop the pension age down to 60 for everybody, like they should do, the pension is the cheapest, if you want to call it a benefit they pay out. And if you're unemployed with a house, etc., with children, you're costing 3 or 4 times more than a pensioner. So I don't see the logic of upping the pension age so that we've got to carry on working. Why not drop pension age, give us more money, and make the people who've got families, etc., work? I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to work after pension age. That's fine if you've got energy and the strength and the health to go with it. Well, why not? But there's an awful lot of people, if you dig ditches, etc., you're worn out by the time you're 60. You shouldn't really be made to carry on working. I applaud the idea that they're making younger people from a young age paying a pension because it is an accumulative interest. And if you start young enough, you're £20, £30 a month over years will turn quite a reasonable, substantial pot of money. And I applaud that idea, but it's not helping out the pensions in the short term, is it? They fiddled and jiggled the figures around for the universal credit, and that hasn't really helped anybody. It's made the pension a little bit more, how should I put it, appealing, as if you could have eaten more. It's not a lot, really, is it? But you've got to work more. You've got to work longer than under the old pension to get slightly more money. And if you ridiculously then defer your pension, you're an idiot, because at the end of the day you don't get much more money. They've actually made money out of you. And if you've paid into this pension, why aren't you taking it? You know, what sense is there in not taking a pension that you're actually entitled to? And then whatever you earn is pin money. You can work as few or as many hours as you want. So, really, that's my waffling from the big red chair for today. Maybe another one tomorrow. I don't know. See how I feel and how the time goes. It's a busy old life when you're a part-time taxi driver, said he, working approximately 30 plus hours a week. Not really part-time. But you've got to keep the wolf from the door and a roof over your head. And, of course, pay those all-important pension contributions so you actually get your full pension for what it's worth at 66. So, in conclusion, it's goodbye from me, Paul, your host for the day, and I hope to speak to you again soon. Do please, if you want, comment below, subscribe, and follow me. Thank you.